Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, March 30th, and my name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and by being accountable, which is why I do the videos. It forces me to kind of do some interior observation, look inside, and dig into this program. All right. I am no expert in AA and spirituality or recovery. I'm just sharing my experience as I trudge this road to happy destiny. All right. So the recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflections book. The link for that is in the description if you want to follow along. I'll share my take on that, and then usually I'll share some other topics, some other struggle, somewhere on gratitude, success, failure, that kind of thing. And yeah, that's what we do every day. So let's dig in. All right, so the topic for today is going to be our group conscience as well as the topic of judgment. All right, once again, it is March 30th, so we'll start with that. All right, our group conscience. Sometimes the good is the enemy of the best. Alcoholics Anonymous comes of age, page 101. I think these words apply to every area of AA's three legacies: recovery, unity, and service. I want them etched in my mind and life as I trudge the road of happy destiny. These words, often spoken by co-founder Bill W., were appropriately said to him as a result of the group's conscience. It brought home to Bill W. the essence of our second tradition. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. Just as Bill W. was originally urged to remember, I think that in our group discussions we should never settle for the good, but always strive to attain the best. These common strivings are yet another example of a loving God, as we understand Him, expressing Himself through the group conscience. Experiences such as these help me to stay on the proper path of recovery. I learn to combine initiative with humility, responsibility, and thankfulness, and thus relish the joys of living my 24-hour program. All right. This reading was a little hard for me to follow. I had to do a little research and to really get an understanding of what they're talking about here. So, what I did is I put my best thoughts on what this means. And what this means to me is we never want to just settle for good enough. All right. We don't want to take shortcuts, accepting that. And it's going to take a more hard work to achieve the best. And what is best? What does that mean? And I guess to me, best is being what's best for the group and not for the leaders, right? The leaders are but trusted servants. And through humility and not always doing what they think they want, but that's why it's a group conscience, right? We can strive for what's best for the group, which is to help as many people as possible get sober and stay sober. So that's my understanding of what that looks like. And I guess how I can apply this to my life is I'm very, very accustomed to good enough. I'll stop working the program. I'll cut corners because it's good enough. But in reality, my best should be maintain a good, healthy spiritual program of recovery and pass it on to somebody else, right? Doing the service work that goes along with that. So I guess that's what that means to me on this one. So, and the other topic I wanted to talk about was the topic of judgment, right? I've noticed that I have been feeling judged lately, and I have been judging others, right? And I think the main reason that I've been judging is I have not felt good about myself. So this whole idea of judgment, and I mentioned before, there's this Bob D on YouTube talks about how judgment is one of the worst characteristics, where our will creeps back into our lives, and then that can manifest into resentments in other areas of our life. So I just thought this was pertinent because I've been feeling judged, and I've noticed myself judging. So I want to start with, what is judgment? What does that mean? So the definition I have for judgment is the ability to make considered decisions or come to a sensible conclusion, or an opinion or a conclusion. So we look at something and go, oh, this means that, right? And I think the most common thing we do is we judge things as good or bad, right? And now there is a Chinese parable, which the link is in the description, that talks about the story of a Chinese farmer who has almost nothing, right? All he really has is a horse. And I'm just going to, summarize that story. And the story kind of goes like this: the Chinese farmer loses his horse, runs away. All his neighbors come over and go, that's horrible. Oh, that's horrible. It's a bad thing. And the Chinese farmer says, how do I know if it's a bad thing, right? Days later, the horse comes back with other horses, and all of a sudden he's one of the richest men in the village. And his neighbors are going, "Oh, this is fantastic! Look how great this is!" And the farmer says, "Well, how do I know if it's a good thing?" And later on, when his son tries to break one of the horses, it bucks him off. He falls and breaks his leg and is unable to walk. And once again, here we go. The neighbors go, "Oh, it's so bad! It's so bad! What a horrible thing!" And the farmer goes, "Well, how do I know it's a bad thing?" Right? And then later on, the Chinese government comes over and they want all the able-bodied youth to go to war, certain to die. And so here we go again, right? How do we know if things are a good thing or a bad thing? And I do as bad as everybody, judge people and situation as good or bad, whether I like them or not, how it fits into my life, right? So the point is, I don't know what I don't know, and so I'm constantly judging things. And I know when I'm not doing well, I'm not feeling well about myself, I tend to do a lot of judging. So I just want to kind of bring up that idea because I'm going to follow up on this a little bit later on in the next video, about why we judge, how do we stop judging, and that kind of thing. And so for me, the idea of if I'm judging people, which means I'm not showing love, I'm not showing compassion, and I think I know, right? That's not going to end up in a good place. And so also in the description, I sent a link for a journal I put together when I was in Yosemite that has to do with complaining and judgment. Just my observation of how I'm processing these kind of things. So, I mean, judging it makes me feel superior. It almost gives me some sense of control, right? And so I guess that's kind of my first pass at this idea of judgment. So like I said, in the next video, I'm going to share a little bit more about, in my opinion, why we judge and how do we break that habit of judgment. So we're showing love, patience, and tolerance like we're supposed to, and almost taking a position of neutrality and really trying to learn to accept it and surrender these things so we can enjoy life on a day-to-day basis. Because when I'm judging, I'm not at peace, I'm not loving, and it's just not a place that I want to be. So anyway, like I said, for part one of this judgment, that's all I got for today. I just want to encourage you to be aware of judging and being critical of other people or situations. Do we really know enough to say things are good or bad? And how much do we complain, about things not going our way? And what does that do to you? Just be aware of that. So I just want to encourage you to think about that. And thank you for watching. And like I said, we'll finish up the other part of judgment tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for listening. Have a good day.